Bhargo devasya dhimahi Diyo yo na.
Yes, we're at the mandir.
Oh, you're in the mandir?
Yeah.
Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva bandhu cha sakha tvameva vidya dravinam tvameva mamatam mama deva deva tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. Okay, so everybody knows we are on chapter 6, which is on meditation, and we finished verse 33, which was Arjuna had a doubt now. So Krishna Bhagavan said that if you get your mind away from the world, constantly thinking about me in meditation, you will get self-realized. So Arjun ne socha ki bhai, if Krishna Bhagavan is saying, then it must be true, but he had a doubt and he said, I think I can get that for a little bit, but don't tell me that I can get it for established continuously and think about that whole time. So that's what is kind of a doubt, So now he Arjun doesn't give up. And remember, Arjun is us. We have that doubt. And no matter what we say, somewhere we have this, I'm not there yet. And I don't know how to get there. And there is a problem. We have that, right? Because intellectually we know it, everything now, after reading and reading and reading. But we are not there. So he's also feeling the same thing. So he's like, I want to... just get a chair. I want to nail Krishna now. That's what, it's like he has a lot of respect, but he still has a doubt. So that's where we are in the whole picture. So here he says, I think we did 33, right? Yeah, 34. And these next two verses are one of the most important ones in chapter 6. Because this is like almost like what we have to do now, what Krishna Bhagavan will answer. So let's see first his doubt. Chanchalam himana Krishna. Chanchalam himana Krishna. Pramati balavadrunam. Pramati balavadrunam. Tasyaham nigraham anye. Tasyaham nigraham anye. Vayoriva sudushkaram. So the Sanskrit is Chanchalam is restless. He is verily. Manaha is the mind. Krishnaha, O Krishna. Prathami, turbulent. Pramati, sorry. Ulta bola main. Pramati is turbulent. Balavat is strong. Drudam, unyielding. Tasya, of it. Aham is I, Nigraham, control, Manye, think, Vayoho, of the wind, Iva, as, Dushkaram, difficult to do. Okay, here, you can read.
The mind verily is, O Krishna, restless, turbulent, strong and unyielding. I deem it quite as difficult to control as the wind.
So just to remember these four characteristics of mind, he said, restless, turbulent, strong, and unyielding. Yes. He just described everybody's mind. आपका खोल के दिखाऊं ये कहाँ पर है?
Page
1
98.
second.
Page 98.
So हम यहाँ पे. We just read this, and now we're going to start reading from there. Yeah.
There is an ocean of difference between a modern man condemning the sacred scriptures of a land and a true seeker questioning the same philosophy in his honest attempt to understand the full import and the wealth of suggestiveness contained therein. In his acute awareness, Arjuna realizes deep within himself his own subjective experience that a mind cannot be still. as it is ever turbulent, strong, and unyielding.
There's one paragraph missing in yours, and it has a kind of
Yeah.
significance also, so I'll just read it. It comes in the beginning. So it starts with, there is an atmosphere of intimacy and love, surrender and respect in the very note of helplessness in Arjuna's word in this stanza. So we feel, we have a lot of reverence for the Shastras, but we feel helpless. Like something is, I don't know how to do it. This art of making an emotion echo through the rhythm of the word is often met with in Sanskrit, although rarely, if ever at all, we see them in English poetry also. I think they always removed a little criticism whenever Swamiji did in the next thing, just for political purposes, paper. But anyway, so.
These three terms are quite pregnant in their own import. Turbulence shows not only the speed in the flow of thoughts, but also their restlessness and agitation, causing undulating waves rising on the surface. Not only does the flood of thoughts flow fast and rough, but having reached its destination at some sense object or the other, it gets so powerfully attached to it that it becomes strong in its new roots. Mind's turbulence is no doubt difficult to arrest. When it gets strongly riveted, it is difficult to pluck it away from its attachments. And the third characteristic feature of the mind is that when it has flown into any new channel of its own choice, for the moment it is unyielding. Hence it is impossible for the individual to pull it back from its flight and persuade it to stay at any chosen point of concentration. It is to be remembered that this was a technique advised by Krishna for the practice of meditation earlier in this chapter.
So in this paragraph, the entire characteristic of mind is, he has opened it up even more. What is the problem? So he's saying the first is the turbulency, speed of thoughts, restlessness and agitation. We know, and sometimes it can be good agitation or bad. That does not matter, in a sense that happiness or sadness both can cause agitation. Sometimes people are so happy that they get a heart attack also. So it's like both ways. It's talking about speed of thought, restlessness and agitations. And then not only that, but it reaches the destination of sense object and gets powerfully attached to it. So that's another characteristic of a mind, that whatever sense of some object, and you know that if we want something, we constantly meditate upon it. Neend में भी, सपने में भी, सुबह उठते ही, खाना बनाते time, we can't give it up. It's just like a...
When you meditate, you get it also.
Well, so... Yes, in fact,
that's what he's saying.
yes, so moment you sit down, like our teacher used to say, to-do list aa gayi samne. Because now everything is, meko ye karna hai, wo karna hai. It is. So that's why Arjun here is a very advanced student. He is no ordinary person. He knows the Shastras very well. But he knows that when it comes to practice, he can't do it. So that's why he's bringing this thing, the four things that he said. So one was the turbulency of constant thought, and secondly, powerfully getting attached. And once it's attached, it's unyielding. You cannot bring it back.
Yeah,
It
so
seems
strong.
that way.
It's so
Let's not use the word you cannot. He thinks that, my God, and we know. किसी ने बोला कि अभी बैठ जाओ, कुछ भी मत सोचो, हाँ? And I don't want you to think of Apple.
Well, once you say that,
Boom.
that's gone.
So that's mind. So,
It's gone.
so वो apple ही ध्यान में आएगा फिर. There's no way I can get rid of that apple in my head then. So that's what it's saying. The moment attached, unyielding, and then it is impossible for an individual to pull it back. So हम लोग कहते हैं, oh my God, क्या करेंगे इस मन का, right? And then let's see what he says.
The strength and vigor, the vivacity and treachery, the penetrativeness and all-pervasiveness of the mind cannot be better expressed than by the simile given here as the wind. In raising this question, Arjuna is asking Krishna for some practical tips by which he can gain perfect control over the stormy nature of the unyielding, strong, turbulent, and restless mind. Herein, unlike the previous stanza, the Lord is addressed by his most familiar name, Krishna, a word that comes from the root Krishna, to scrape.
Mm-hmm.
The term Krishna is applicable to the self because on realization of the truth, the threads of the delusory mind and the consequent dreamy vasanas will all be scraped away from our cognition.
Okay, so in this paragraph, there are two main things. One is he's talking about that mind, he compares it to a wind. I would say the hurricanes. Okay? Like once, man, it starts, it's like, how do I control it? And we know that wind can what kind of havoc it causes. So that's why and those four can go, the adjectives to the wind also. Unyielding, strong, turbulent, and restless. So that's one aspect. And then he says, he referred to him as Krishna. So here in Bhagavad Gita, they have used many names for Krishna and many names for Arjuna, right? But there's so much psychology. It's not like just picked up any name anywhere. You know, every name has a deep meaning in that particular context. So here he's saying Krishna, the word Krish there are different meanings of Krishna word also. One is to attract, but one is to scrape. And a scrape, what are we scraping? We are scraping all the dirt of our mind. So in the final experience, it's like all our dirt of the mind is gone, and that's why the mind is quiet. So one of the reasons that our mind is like that, because उसमें बहुत कुछ उल्टा सीधा भरा हुआ है. It's like filled with all kinds. We may think we are also pure, but we are not. Otherwise, we would be peaceful all the time.
So that would be that he used Krishna because he's thinking he will help him scrape the mind,
Exactly.
his mind, to make it purified.
Exactly.
That's what he's doing.
That's one, and the other one is in the end when I do get established in that higher Brahman, my mind will be totally clean.
And that
that's
Krishna is scraping it, and therefore he uses
both
the word
both
Krishna.
ways you can say exactly. Yes.
The bloody hands of the dreamer get automatically cleaned, and all the moral stigma attached to the murder immediately gets cleared. Murder?
When we fall, just read the full thing, then you will know.
When the dreamer wakes up. Similarly, the mind and its onslaughts, its vasanas and the tyranny, the intellect and its quest, the physical body and its appetites, all end with the rediscovery of the true nature of the self. Therefore, the poet-philosopher Vyasa, in his immortal classic Mahabharata, paints the inner self as Lord Krishna, the flute player of Vrindavana. In Sanskrit, this is a special art unknown to any other language in the world. The coining of a proper noun for a person to indicate a particular quality that is to be suggested in the context of the narration.
So here he's comparing that state, the higher state, to, just like when we are dreaming and when we wake up, anything that happened in the dream doesn't affect us. We may have killed somebody in the dream or done, but he's just using that analogy. When I wake up, my hands are not bloody. Nobody's going to prosecute me for that punishment. So it's like we think hamara kaise hoga, like how. But he's saying once you wake up to that, none of this affect you anyway.
It'll clear up.
It just gone because you have woken up to the higher self. So like our teacher used to say that the dream world is like God is showing us that how, because when we are dreaming we always think it's real.
We are in it too.
Yeah, we are. Our consciousness is focused on that, and we are in it too. As an experience. But that experience, the only time we think that it's not real is when we wake up. So in this context, when you wake up to that higher reality and get totally established in itself, then nothing affects you in this world. That's why they say that no karma affects a self-realized person. It may seem like he's doing this and that, but reality, nothing touches him. And one of the very great worldly example that I connected to, and I will share it with you, is the sunlight. The sunlight we physically see, right? Because of physical light, it touches everything. It touches the gutter, and it touches the mandir. Does the sunlight get sullied? No. We never think about it, but that's true. And then somebody was saying even for Ganga, he said that we find Ganga ka pani is so pavitra, उसमें तुम कुछ भी फेंक दो वो गंगा बन जाता है. उसके बाद तुम उसको नहीं बोलोगे कि वो गटर का पानी है. it's a hard concept because our mind always goes in. But you ask people who have Shraddha for Ganga. Ganga में भी तो कहीं कहीं का पानी आता ही है ना. But they don't look at it that way. It's considered pure. You know. So.
When we say they are cleaning up Ganga, right? They do clean up.
No, they do clean up, but I know I see a lot of doubt in your head. But when you go actually, and
I know what they say. People say, and I believe it.
Yeah,
at the same time when I hear about that also.
Yeah, but it's better to go and see it for yourself and know the facts, because the Ganga ka pani, they keep it at home and no bacteria grows in it.
I have it for the past 18 years.
I have it.
And they say I can drink it.
So,
I have it in a bottle.
yeah.
And I'm told I can drink it.
Yes, they say that because I told you they already did the scientific research now that it's a self-cleaning system in it.
Well,
There's
let's not get into that.
Yes.
No,
Is
I'm not saying that believe me, but
I've been there. It's so dirty, you cannot even step into that. So that is what they're talking about. Is
if humans make it dirty, there is nothing, nobody can do
that's
it.
what it is.
Environment
That's
also we are
what
doing
it
it.
is.
But by itself, Ganga
When
pani
it
is
starts,
different
it's
from the other pani.
It
Let's
is.
put it.
Yes.
Let's stop at that.
right. That's what I'm saying, because
Yeah.
this
I'm
one
not
is-
saying that, if तुम कोई शिव को भी तुम उसको गंदगी से देखोगे, and when you make it dirty, it's like an environment. By itself, the environment knows how to clean itself.
Yes.
If the humans, they say कि अगर human species को हटा दो ना इस धरती से, there will be total harmony on this. The animals, they know how to balance it.
Yes.
But humans are the one. So what you are bringing in is a human aspect, but I am bringing about is the divinity of the Ganga itself, that is recognized for thousands of years. So to me, it's, and I'm not saying that I'm just, whenever I say in this class anything, it's not my opinion. I'm bringing the knowledge of this and all that. So don't think that I am pushing my opinion, and I think everybody needs to verify it yourself.
I'm saying that this one is based on it's saying we are making it dirty and we are cleaning it. So that's
Yeah.
No, I understand that.
So
Yeah.
there's
And I
no-
know the.
But the
purity
reason
of
I
it.
gave that Ganga ka this thing, because you and may not have Shraddha. There are millions of people who will drink it.
Yeah.
Even in Banaras they will drink it. I know that if you go to like
Kanpur.
no, yeah, you may be from that area, so I don't know. But if you go to, I've been to Gangotri. I mean, that is as pure as
Right.
anything
You
can
went
be.
up to Rishikesh,
But there are
it's pure.
people who go to. I have seen in Gurudwara they will drink that water that people are
Wash
walking
their
into.
feet, yeah.
That much Shraddha, and they don't get sick.
But
So-
here, I went to Aspen Mountain. So that's the highest mountain. The water which is coming from there can be as pure as possible.
Mm.
And I inquired from my hotel that how is the drinking water here, and he said excellent. You don't need to worry about it. So I thought I can drink from there too. So I took my bottle and I refill it, and then I was discussing with the manager, and he said no, you are not supposed to drink that water. I said why not? And they said there are a lot of animals live there and they can make it polluted and all this. And I said okay, that's this country. In India it would have been regarded as the most pure water.
So yeah, okay. Let's move on. So
Accepting the arguments of Arjuna, the Lord answers that there is a method by which the invincible mind can be brought under control.
So just so that we don't lose what we were talking about, he's just saying that once you wake up to the higher self, the lower things, even if you have done whatever, it does not matter. And the example is if we can connect to the dream, then we will know what he's talking about. That's all it was.
He also mentioned just in this one, in Mahabharata paints the inner self as Lord Krishna. So the inner self, he's bringing the word Krishna. He's saying Krishna. So Krishna is in two aspects. One is to scrape it and clean it,
And one is the Atma itself.
Atma itself.
Yes.
Yes.
Because he
Yes.
always in Bhagavad Gita many times, later on he says much more, many more times when he says me.
Yes. Oh,
And then
yeah,
some
yeah,
people think,
yes.
hey, is that an egoistic
Way of
statement or what? No, he's not referring to me as my body. He's referring to me as Atma, because Krishna Bhagavan was totally immersed with that Brahman at
itself,
that time.
At that time.
Yeah, so that's why he's saying me.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Yeah.
I think of Atmaji whenever that Atma
Yes.
word comes up.
He's sitting right here. And see how quiet he is?
Right.
That's how, it's a Sakshi.
He's a
He,
Sakshi.
my God,
He's a
that
Sakshi.
look at that. He is a Sakshi of our class. And they say Atma is a Sakshi.
Watching us.
Yes, that's
And the
that's the
Sakshi is-
characteristic of the Atma. It's
Yeah.
just a Sakshi.
Sure is.
Okay, let's go to now very important verse. भगवान क्या बोलेंगे? इसने तो अपना बोल दिया सारा के mind is like that and we had identified it with it. Yes, it is true. Now भगवान says, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
Asamshayam Mahabaho
Asamshayam Mahabaho
Mano Durnigriham Chalam
Mano Durnigriham Chalam
Abhyasena tu Kaunteya
Abhyasena tu Kaunteya
Vairagyen cha gruhyate
Vairagyen cha griyate.
So Sanskrit is asamshayam is undoubtedly, Mahabaho, O mighty armed, Manaha, the mind, Durnigraham, difficult to control, Chalam, restless, Abhyasen, by practice, Tu, but, Kaunteya, O son of Kunti, Vairagyen, by dispassion, Cha, and Goyate is restrained. Okay, Sushil ji.
Undoubtedly, O mighty armed one, the mind is difficult to
The
control.
blessed Lord.
The blessed Lord said. Yeah, you missed that.
Oh, why?
Okay, that's fine. I missed that word. So,
Hmm.
the blessed Lord said, undoubtedly, O mighty armed one, the mind is difficult to control and is restless. But by practice, O son of Kunti, and by dispassion, it is restrained.
So before we go into it, if we know this, and then we'll understand everything that he's saying. So here he says Mahabaho. He's calling Arjuna mighty armed. See how much psychology is there? कि भाई hey, महाबाहो means you can do it.
Exactly.
Like ऐसे
that's
बच्चे को
what it
बोलते हैं
is.
ना हम लोग, अरे तू तो बड़ा शाना बेटा है, you are a very good boy and this and that, and all of a sudden say, yeah, I think I can do it. Or you're very strong, like हम लोग बोलते हैं ना छोटे बच्चे.
You're a
That's
big
it.
boy.
You're a big boy. There you go. See how much psychology is just so amazing.
Yes.
And he's saying he agrees with him because अगर कोई बहुत ज़्यादा argue कर रहा हो ना, तो उसको oppose मत करो. उसको बोलो हाँ तू बिल्कुल सही कह रहा है, तो वो एकदम शांत हो जाता है कि भाई अदरवाइज यू आर टेलिंग एकदम कॉन्फ्रंटेशनल हो जाएगा वहाँ पर. या mind is difficult to control. Undoubtedly, he said. Undoubtedly, the mind is difficult to control and is restless. But, immediately bata diya, practice and dispassion, it is restrained. So there are two words that we literally have to memorize. Abhyas and Vairagya. And then now he's going to open it up, what it means, Abhyas. Because when you say Abhyas, we have to know exact. Because here, every word has so much depth in it. Because अभ्यास sounds very simple, जाके प्रैक्टिस कर लो, कैसे करना, क्या करना, किसको प्रैक्टिस बोल रहे हैं वो, क्या होगा प्रैक्टिस से, वो सब चीज़ें हम क्लियर हुई.
Abhyas and
वैराग्य. वैराग्य dispassion meaning, और वैराग्य means not here the, because we are already in chapter 6, पहले उन्होंने वैराग्य का definition दिया हुआ है पहले अर्लियर चैप्टर्स में. बिकॉज हम लोग जैसे ही वैराग्य सोचते हैं, सबसे पहले हम सोचते हैं कि सब कुछ छोड़ छाड़ के गुफा में बैठ जाओ को वैराग. दैट्स नॉट व्हाट कृष्ण भगवान इज सेइंग बाय एनी मीन्स. ही इज सेइंग वैराग्य इज मेंटल. when you don't get, when you're not attached to the worldly things. Yeah, detachment is, and then he says जिसके पास likes or dislikes नहीं है ना, वो वैरागी है. Means I don't get swayed, and he doesn't even use the word when you don't have